إذا الأمجاد قد عظمت فللأمجاد بانيها ومن يسعى إلى العليا سيدركها بما فيها ويبني مجده جذلا فروح الفذ يعليها ليصبح همة تروي عن العليا.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome to another exciting episode of K-Way Mathematics with me, your host, Mohammed Kota from the K-Way Institute here in Johannesburg, South Africa. Now, if you have been following our series of all the different episodes based on mathematics, what we are about to do today is we are about to do circle analytics. Now, we are focusing on paper 2, process and procedure. We did do in paper 1, just to recap quickly from the previous episodes for those of you who have just joined us, we've covered the whole of quadratics, we've covered the whole of algebra, we've done functions, we've done exponential equations, we've done our normal equations, we have also done the entire calculus, right? We then, in our previous episode, we did analytics. We are now going into circle analytics, which is also, but circle analytics, boys and girls, is only for grade 12, not for grade 11. Yes, the show is meant for grade 11 and 12, but circle analytics is for purely grade 12s only. Now, something before we actually get started with the program, just to enlighten the viewer, the viewer, as to what we're about to do is we're going through all shortcuts and we're going through processes and procedures throughout the syllabus for this Ramadan period. Obviously, once we are we have our live show on Thursday evenings, viewers can then call in based on the content that we've covered. If they have any of their own questions that they would like answered, we can do it, we can air it live, we can answer it live via our panel. That's the first thing. The second thing is that once we continue the program after Ramadan, obviously then we will go into more intensive, more difficult exam type questions. The purpose of these shows during Ramadan is to get you, the learner, grade 11 or 12 learner, if you know nothing about the topic, to enlighten you about the topic, to make you conversant as to what is transpiring in each of these sections, and to help you to actually start working with these topics before you actually start getting busy with your examination style questions from past paper booklets or from textbooks. Okay, so without any further delay, let's go into circle analytics today. Now, what is circle analytics? Circle analytics is determining the equation of a circle whose center is not at the origin. Now, we know a circle whose center is at the origin would be given by, that's a circle whose center is at the origin of the Cartesian plane, and if it has a radius of, say, 5, okay? So we know that x squared plus y squared is equal to r squared. And that is a circle whose center is at the origin. So basically, if you had to give the equation of the circle, it would be given by x squared plus y squared is equal to, your radius here is 5, so it would be 5 squared. So x squared plus y squared is equal to 25. And that has been taught to you in grade 8 or 9 already. What happens if the origin shifts? So if I now give you a circle, and I tell you that the circle looks like that, and I give you a point here P, -2 and 4, and now I still give you the radius of 5. What is the equation of that circle? Now, from here, this is your standard equation for a circle whose center is at the origin. So basically, if you had to insert the center into your equation, what would your equation then look like? It would be x, you would agree with me that x squared is the same as saying x minus 0 squared plus y minus 0 squared is equal to 25. Agreed? X minus 0 is x squared. If I close 0 and 0, what am I left with? X squared plus y squared is equal to r squared, where 0 and 0 representing the center of your circle. So obviously, if 0 and 0 represent the center of your circle, the coordinates for the center of the circle, if I remove that and just put a general formula, you would agree with me that we could then state x minus x1 squared plus y minus y1 squared is equal to r squared, where x1 y1 represents x1 y1 represents the center of your circle. So that is your formula. Grade 12s, that is your opening formula for circle analytics. Okay, so boys and girls, you would agree with me now that x minus x1 squared plus y minus y1 squared is equal to r squared is the general formula for the equation of a circle whose center is not at the origin. So now let's go and put the formula here. So for circle analytics, your formula would now stand as x minus x1 squared plus y minus y1 squared is equal to r squared, where r represents your radius, x1, y1 represents x1, y1 would represent the center of your circle. So if that was given in the exam, it doesn't have to. Now grade 12s, pay attention. So now that you've understood this, I'm going to erase this because I need some space to work. So this was just your baseline knowledge as to how we got to our formula. Okay. You'll be lucky in the exam if they gave you a diagram. If they gave you a diagram, you're fortunate, you can work from the diagram. Sometimes they might give it to you in English. They might give you a story. They might tell you a circle, listen carefully, a circle with center P, negative 2 and 4, has a radius of 5. The minute they tell you a circle with center P, P is the center of the circle, draw a circle, draw a rough Cartesian plane, draw a circle, put the center P. With a radius of 5, and they're giving you the radius of 5. Determine the equation of that circle. So now the question is, whether they gave you this as a diagram or in English, they want find the equation of the circle. This is how it will appear in the exam. For 4 marks. It won't be for too many marks. Question in the exam, answer. So that's what you would see. Grade 12s. Remember, grade 12 only. That's got absolute grade 11. You'll never see this in grade 11. Okay, let's start. So to find the equation of the circle, we're now going to start with our formula x minus x1 squared plus y minus y1 squared is equal to r squared. So what do we have? X minus minus 2. So it's x plus 2 squared plus y minus y1 squared. Because we said x1, y1 represents the coordinates of the center of your circle is equal to r squared, which is 5 squared. So now, under normal circumstances, this is where you'd leave your answer. This would be now your final answer, right? So now you're going to say x plus 2 squared plus y minus 4 squared is equal to 5 squared, 25. Full stop, you'll get yourself 4 marks in the exam. Plain and simple, pure substitution, don't expand the brackets. Sometimes, grade 12s, you know that as you've been working through your past papers, you know that they might tell you to give it in the form x squared, and they say, find the equation of the circle and give it in the form x squared plus ax plus y squared plus by plus c is equal to 0. Now they want you to give it in that form. So you'll still do it like this. Like I said, listen to me carefully, that under normal circumstances, that's where you'd leave the answer. If the question asks, only if the question asks, only if the question asks. So that's not standard form. That's standard form. If the question asks you to get it to that form, all you have to do is remove the brackets. So now we're going to do a little bit of algebra now. Now say the question asked you to give it in this form here. So all you're going to do now is remove the brackets. So square the first term, x squared. Multiply the 2 inside the brackets and times it by 2. Remember from our shortcut rule from the previous episodes, I showed you how to square a binomial. You square the first term. There we go, x squared. Multiply the 2. 2x times 2 is 4x. Square the second term, plus 4, plus y squared, minus 4y times 2, minus 8y, plus 16 is equal to 25. Now they want is equal to 0. So all you have to do is collect your like terms. So we're going to have x squared plus 4x plus y squared minus 8y. So I'm done with x squared x, y squared y. 4 plus 16 is 20. 20 minus 25 minus 5 is equal to 0. And there we go. We've brought it into that form. We've taken it from your normal bracket form, square form, into expanded form. That's called expanded form. We're taking it from bracket form into expanded form. So the value of A is 4. The value of B is negative 5. The value of C is negative 5. And there we go. We've then got it into this form. Okay, so before we cut for an ad break, I'm going to give you one quickly to do during the ad break, and when we come back, we'll go through the solution. So there we go. I give you the point M. I'm telling you M is the midpoint. I tell you that is 4 and 6, and I tell you it has got a radius here of 8. Okay, here's a quick problem to do. Copy and paste the process. Copy and paste the process. We're going to cut for an ad break. As soon as we get back from the ad break, we'll go through the solution.
الأمجاد قد عظمت فللأمجاد بانيها إذا الأمجاد قد عظمت فللأمجاد بانيها.
Boys and girls, welcome back from the ad break. Before we broke for the ad break, we put up this question here and we said determine the equation of the circle. So I said copy and paste the process. Let's see how well you did during the break. Okay, it was fine. You didn't need to give the answer back into expanded form. So let's get started. So all you had to do here now is go and say x minus x1 squared plus y minus y1 squared is equal to r squared. So what do we have? We got x minus 4 squared plus y minus 6 squared is equal to r squared, 8 squared, which is equal to 64. If the question wanted you to get it into expanded form, how would you get it into expanded form? X squared minus 4 times 2 minus 8x plus 16 plus y squared, that's a 6, minus 6y times 2 minus 12y plus 36 is equal to 64. So we got x squared minus 8x plus y squared minus 12y. 16 plus 36, 52 is equal to 64 minus 52. So we got x squared minus 8x plus y squared minus 12y is equal to 12. And there we go. If they wanted you to say the d value on the or the c value on the opposite side, you just take the 12 on the opposite side, which would have become then obviously negative 12. Right, so this is your type 1 or part 1. There are only 4 parts of circle analytics, and the first one is determining the circle if the center and the radius is given. What if the center and a point is given and the radius is not given? So now we are doing part 2. So like we said, there are only 4 parts to it. So hopefully by the end of today's episode, you should be fully conversant with circle analytics, because everything, whatever questions will happen or that will appear or you will be faced with in the exam, whichever challenge you'll be faced with, will be within the sphere, within the boundaries or the constraints of these 4 subsections in circle analytics, which was the first one, where finding the equation of a circle whose center is not at the origin and the radius is given. Now what if the radius is not given? So type 2 is if the radius is not given. So they give you a circle, they give you the center, and they tell you that there is point 3 and 5, and they give you another point here and they call that point B. They say a circle with center M, 3 and 5 has a point B, 12 and 8 on the circumference. Find the equation of the circle. So question, find the equation of the circle. Worth 5 marks, 5 to 6 marks. Question, answer. That's given in the exam. Right. In order for us to find the equation, that's the equation of the circle. x1, y1. Do I have x1, y1? Yes, I do. x1, y1. Do I have it? Yes, I do. Do I have r? Do I have my radius? No, I don't. Can I find my radius? Yes, I can. And how am I going to do that? Join the 2 dots. Okay? You join the 2 dots, and that's a straight line. And obviously, we're now going to do, this here will be your radius. So now, how do I find the length of the radius? We use our distance formula. So step number 1, you're going to use the distance formula to find the radius. So all you're going to do now is you're going to say MB is equal to the square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. You could use the distance formula, or you could plug in x1, y1, and x and y in order to give you your r. You could have, whether you wanted to use that formula on the top or you use this formula here at the bottom, it makes absolutely no difference. In both cases, you will be getting your radius. Let's see. MB, is equal to the square root of x2 minus x1. So it's 12 minus 3 squared plus y2 minus y1, 8 minus 5 squared. So MB is equal to the square root of 12 minus 3 is 9. 9 squared is 81 plus 8 minus 5 is 3. 3 squared is 9. So MB is equal to the square root of 90. So here we go. We know MB is the square root of 90. That's my radius. Right? Radius is equal to, that's your radius. Okay, we now go, the question said find the equation of the circle. So that's was step number 1. Step number 2, we now go into the equation of a circle whose center is not at the origin. X minus x1 squared plus y minus y1 squared is equal to r squared. And what do we have? X minus 3 squared plus y minus 5 squared is equal to r squared root 90 squared. So x minus 3 squared, just remove the square, x minus 3 squared plus y minus 5 squared is equal to square and square root will cancel out. You are left with 90. And there we go. You will get yourself 5 marks for that. Step number 1, use the distance formula to calculate the radius. Step number 2, find the equation of the circle whose center is not at the origin using its formula. So this was type 2. So what was type 1? Quick recap. Type 1, the center was given and the radius was given. Type 2, the center is given, radius not given, and a point. So here it's center and a point. Let's now go on to type 3. What if the final answer was given and they asked you now to find the equation of the center of the circle, to find the coordinates of the center of the circle and the radius. So type 3, we now almost at the end. We are type 3 of 4. Once this is done, circle analytics is done. The theory with regard to it. Obviously there's a host of questions, different types of questions that they could ask you in the exam, and we'll be going through that in preceding episodes sometime soon in the future. Okay? Guys, what if it's given to you? Now they tell you x squared plus 4x plus, let's call it plus y squared minus 10y is equal to 6. Right. The question says in the exam, find, so if this is given, that's your question, that's given. This equation is given, they tell you, find the coordinates of the center of the circle, and the radius. For 5 marks. Okay, boys and girls, we need to get it from that form into that form, because the minute I get it from here to there, I can just read off x1, y1 as my coordinates of my center, and I can get my radius. But it's not in that form, and the only way to do it is by completing the square. Now boys and girls, I want you grade 12s across the country, I want to show you a shortcut. Okay, I'm going to show you a method quite different to the way your teachers show it to you. Again, I'm going to show you how not to do it. I'm going to show you the way that is generally shown to you. But I'm going to tell you, don't do it this way. Okay. So, how not to do it? How not to do it? Okay. Generally, what has been shown to you, you're now going to say, they're going to tell you to complete the square. You complete the square for x, complete the square for y. So you're going to say x squared plus 4x plus a half times the coefficient of x over 1 all squared plus y squared minus 10y plus a half times the coefficient of y over 1 all squared is equal to 6. What we do on the left, we do on the right, plus half times the coefficient of x over 1 plus, we don't even have enough board space, plus half times the coefficient of y over 1 all squared. Again, I'm telling you, boys and girls, again, I'm telling you how not to do it. So please don't write this down. This is the method that's going to be shown to you. Don't do it. I'm going to show you a shortcut after this. So just hang on. Right. So now they're now going to tell you to expand the bracket. So you're going to say x squared plus 4x plus 4 over 2 is 2. 2 squared is 4 plus y squared minus 10y plus 10 over 2 is 5. 5 squared is 25 is equal to 6 plus 4 plus 25. Now the first 3 is a perfect square, second 3 is a perfect square. So x plus 2 squared plus y minus 5 squared is equal to 6 plus 4 is 10, 10 plus 25 is 35. And now your center of your circle, here's it, x minus x1 squared plus y minus y1 squared is equal to r squared. So your center of your circle here would be negative 2 and 5, and r squared is equal to 35. Therefore r would equal to the square root of 35. Okay? You would get the marks right. If you did it this way, it wouldn't be wrong. I'm going to show you a time-saving way in order to avoid and to eliminate such a chaotic situation in the exam. Okay, so remember what we have. We got negative 2 and 5. And we got r squared, and we got r is equal to 35. I'm going to show you how to get from here to there in one step, eliminating all of that. So, welcome to K-Way. Right, now, how to do it. All we're going to do now, remember in the previous episode when we showed you by completing the square, we said divide by 2 plus x squared. Because we were completing the square only for x. But now we're completing the square for y as well. So obviously, divide by 2 plus x squared, divide by 2 for y plus y squared. So all we're going to do, here we go, divide by 2 plus that x value squared, divide by 2 plus the y value squared. So here goes. We're going to get from question to answer in one step for 5 marks. So x squared, x, plus 4 divided by 2, 2 squared, plus y minus 10 divided by 2, 5 squared is equal to 6 plus 4, there we go, plus 25. 6 plus 4, 10, 10 plus 25, 35. Boys and girls, boom. One step. One step. You got the answer in one step. Divide by 2 plus x squared, divide by 2 plus y squared, you get your answer. So there's the center of your circle, negative 2 and 5, change the signs. R squared is 35. So r must equal to the square root of 35. Okay, boys and girls, we're going for an ad break. We're going for an ad break, so I'm going to give you one to do. But remember, it must be in standard form. X squared x, y squared y equals a constant. So I'm going to mix it up for you a little bit. I'm going to give you a new one to do for the break. And when we get back from break, we're going to see how good you are. So I'm going to say x squared plus y squared minus 6x plus 12y minus 2 is equal to 0. Find me the coordinates of the center of the circle. Find the coordinates of the center of the circle and the radius. Boys and girls, you got 3 minutes during the ad break. When we get back, I'll give you the solution.
الأمجاد قد عظمت فللأمجاد بانيها إذا الأمجاد قد عظمت فللأمجاد بانيها.
Boys and girls, welcome. Welcome back to the K-Way Maths Show with me, Mohammed Kota, your host and presenter. We left you before the break with this question here. Find the coordinates, grade 12s only. Remember, today's show is not for grade 11s at all. Find the coordinates of the center of the circle and the radius. So we got x. I gave it to you in mixed form. I told you first put it into standard form. So we said, what is standard form? X squared x, y squared y is equal to a constant. So let's first rearrange it. So we're now going to have x squared minus 6x plus y squared plus 12y is equal to 2. Okay, what did I tell you guys before the break? The shortcut. Divide by 2 plus x squared. Divide by 2 plus y squared. So divide by 2 plus that x value squared, divide by 2 plus the y value squared. So here goes your answer in one step. X minus 6 divided by 2, 3 squared, plus y plus 12 divided by 2, 6 squared is equal to 2. Right? So we got 2 plus 3, negative 3 squared is 9. 6 squared is 36. So 2 plus 9 is 11. 11 plus 36, 47 is equal to 47. So now your center of your circle would be at 3 and negative 6. R squared is equal to 47. Therefore, R is equal to the square root of 47. Right? I know many of you giving yourself a nice pat on the back. You're all saying, yay, at least we're finally seeing the light. Well, welcome to the K-Way Show to show you all these methods. And we will be showing you throughout all our processes, all the different shortcuts, all the different methods. Okay? Time to show you my product as well, like we do in each of our shows. Remember, all these shortcuts, all these processes, complete for grade 11 and 12 are on our disc. We've got a complete set here. It has been recorded over 12 DVDs with a workbook. All right, covering the entire grade 11 and 12 syllabus over 12 DVDs. It's a plug and play, just like this here. Pull out the DVD, put it in. I'll come up on the screen showing you all the different methods covering the entire syllabus. A set like this normally goes for 5,000-6,000 Rand. We're running an ITV special at 1,450. Boys and girls, you want to place an order, either call the TV station or send us an email, kwaymath, without the S. I remember in the previous episode there was an S, and all the emails came back and people were ranting and raving, screaming. What happened? kwaymath, KWAYMATH, kwaymath@gmail.com. Send us an email and we'll get back to you and we'll respond as soon as possible. Okay, boys and girls, let's go back. So we've got now, this was type number 3. Type number 1, you were given the circle. Type number 1, you were given the circle and you were given the radius. Type number 2, you were given the circle and a coordinate, no radius. Type number 3, you were given the equation. You needed to find the coordinates of the center and its radius. We're now going to go on to type number 4, which is the last part of circle analytics, guys. We're almost at the end. We are almost at the end. So, the question, now we want to find the equation. Finding the equation of a tangent. So put down the heading. If you've got your pen and papers ready, pen and books ready, write this heading down. This is type 4, the closing chapter of circle analytics. Finding the equation of a tangent to a circle. Okay, so they're now going to, so basically let's put a diagram here. They give you in the exam, they give you a circle, they give you the center there, they tell you the point there is 2 and 4. They give you a point on the circumference B, let's call it 10 and 12, and they give you a tangent passing there through that point. They want the equation of that tangent to that circle. It's worth 5 marks in the exam, boys and girls. It's worth 5 marks. So the question will could tell you in the exam that a circle with center P, 2 and 4, has a tangent passing through the point B, 10 and 12 on the circumference. Determine the equation. Find the equation of the tangent to the circle. Right. In your final answer, this is where you're going to start. Now, we all know that a tangent is a straight line. And a straight line is given by y is equal to mx plus c. We know that a straight line is given by y is equal to mx plus c. What do I need? I need a coordinate. Do I have a coordinate? Yes, I do. And what else do I need? I need my m value. I need a gradient. Do I have a gradient on that tangent? At the moment, no. But can I get a gradient? Yes, I can. How can we do that? Obviously, we know that from our rules of geometry that a radius is always perpendicular to a tangent. It's a geometric rule. It's a theorem. A line drawn from a center of a circle to a tangent meets it at 90 degrees. So common sense tells you we can first find the m of the radius. Once we find the m of the radius, we can then find the m of the tangent. Why? Because they meet at 90 degrees. And what is the rule for 90-degree gradients or for perpendicular lines? That the gradient of line 1 multiplied by the gradient of line 2 must equal to -1. Okay? The product of the two gradients, gradient 1, gradient 2, the product of the two gradients must equal to -1. So, step number 1, this is the way we're going to do it. Step number 1, we're going to say the m of the radius. The gradient of the radius, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So, y2 minus y1, y2, you can call anyone x1, y1, x2, y2. Let's call this, where's our red pen here? Let's call this one x1, y1. So obviously the other one would be x2, y2. So y2 minus y1, 12 minus 4 over x2 minus x1, 10 minus 2, 10 minus 2. 12 minus 4, guys, 8. 10 minus 2, 8. 8 over 8, 1. We're just fortunate, purely coincidental that we get a value of 1. It could be a fraction, it could be half, it could be negative 3, it could be minus 4 over 7. Makes no difference. Purely coincidental, we're getting 8 over 8, which is 1. Therefore, step number 2. So we've got the m of your radius. Therefore, the m of your tangent must equal to negative 1. Why? Because 1 times negative 1 will equal to minus 1. Because your radius is 90 degrees to your tangent. So we change the sign. Remember what we said before? Change the sign and flip the fraction. Change the sign. So if the old one is negative, the new one will be positive. So now we go into the equation. Therefore, the equation of your tangent is going to be given by y minus y1 is equal to m into x minus x1. So y minus y1. Now, you cannot use now x1, y1 does not refer to the center of your circle. x1, y1 does not refer to the center of your circle. x1, y1 here refers to a point on the line. On the line. So even if you call that one x2, y2 before, you're now going to call it x1, y1, because the point B, 10 and 12, is the point that lies on the straight line, not the center. I cannot use the center's coordinates in my straight line. I can only use a point that lies on my straight line in my straight line. Okay? So, y minus y1, y minus 12 is equal to m, what's m? Negative 1 into x minus x1 minus 10. Right? Y minus 12 is equal to minus x plus 10, negative x plus 10. Y is equal to minus x plus 10 plus 12 plus 22. And there we go, guys. That is done in 3 parts. If you want to, that's step number 1, that's step number 2, and that is step number 3. So step number 1, the m of your radius. Step number 2, the m of your tangent. We change the sign and flip the fraction. This one was positive, the new one will be negative. This one's 1, that one's 1. So now, why? Because your radius is 90 degrees to your tangent. Step number 3, you find the equation of the tangent using y is equal to mx plus c. Okay, so that is finding the equation of a tangent to a circle at a point. Okay, boys and girls, I hope you enjoyed this segment. Is this segment or I hope you guys enjoyed segment 3 of today's episode. When we get back from the exam, we're going to choose an exam question, we're going to put it up, and we're going to see how well we do. Boys and girls, enjoy your break.
الأمجاد قد عظمت فللأمجاد بانيها إذا الأمجاد قد عظمت فللأمجاد بانيها.
Boys and girls, welcome to our last segment of today's episode on circle analytics. We're now going to do tangents and normals, right? I know a normal is a word, some of these words you have been familiar with, some of them are new to you under the CAP syllabus. So let's explain to you. I think we all know what is a tangent. Just to explain to you, put you all into perspective, a tangent is a line that passes a circle or graph and touches at one point. And that is called a tangent. So let's just put it down. We all know that is called a tangent. It meets at one point. Now there is a relationship between a tangent and the center of the circle. We all know that if we had a radius, so let's explain to you what the relationship is. You know that a line drawn from a center of a circle to a tangent meets it at 90 degrees. Now when that very line is extended right through the tangent, through the point of contact, from the center of the circle through the point of contact, that line is called a normal. So if a tangent is a line that passes a graph or passes a circle and touches at one point, the minute you have a radius that goes from the center of the circle through the point of contact where the tangent meets the circle and continues to infinity, that line that runs, that perpendicular line that crosses over, that perpendicular line that crosses over your tangent from the center of your circle to infinity, that line is called your normal. So don't get a shock in the exam. Should you get a question that is phrased in terms of normals, not in terms of tangents, because now you've understood what is the difference between a tangent and a normal. Just quickly, a quick recap. A tangent is a line which passes a circle or a graph and touches at one point. A normal is a line drawn from the center of the circle going through the 90 degrees perpendicular through the point of contact of the tangent and the graph. Okay, so let's look at what an exam style question would look like with regard to asking you to find the equation of a normal. Okay, we did finding the equation of a tangent. We're now going to do finding the equation of a normal. Okay, so, and that would wrap up today's episode. I mean, that would be the last concept under circle analytics. Determine the equation of the normal to the circle. So find the equation of the normal of the circle, or to the circle, of the normal to the circle. And let's give you the equation of the circle. 2x squared minus 2x plus 2y squared, 2x squared minus 2x plus 2y squared plus 6y is equal to 8. That's the question in the exam, worth 5 marks. Find the equation of the normal to the circle, 2x squared minus 2x plus 2y squared plus 6y is equal to 8. What did I say? To find the equation, the first thing we need to do is find the coordinates of the center of the circle and the radius. So obviously, we know that there's a circle. We don't know exactly what the coordinates, but we are about to find that out. So put this into standard form. 2x squared minus 2x plus 2y squared plus 6y is equal to 8. Divide by 2. So you're going to have x squared minus x plus y squared plus 3y is equal to 8. Now we're going to find the coordinates of the center of the circle and the radius. What did I say? Divide by 2 plus x squared, divide by 2 plus y squared. So we're going to have x squared minus, divide by 2, so there's a 1 there, 1 over 2, minus a half x, so it's x minus a half squared plus y plus 3 over 2 is 3 over 2 squared is equal to 8 plus a half squared is a quarter plus 3 over 2 squared, 3 squared is 9 over 2 squared is 4. So x minus a half squared plus y plus 3 over 2 squared is equal to 8 plus a quarter plus 9 over 4. Let's go to our calculators. 8 plus a quarter plus 9 over 4. We get 21 over 2, guys. We get 21 over 2. So obviously your center of the circle, the center of your circle is at a half and negative 3 over 2. R squared is equal to 21 over 2. So R is equal to the square root of 21, the square root of 21 over 2. So now what does that tell us? That hasn't answered our question in any way, right? All this is telling us is that there is a circle, right? The center of the circle, and they said find the equation of the normal to the circle. That was the question at the point. I forgot to tell you, at the point, they give us a point, at the point 1 and 1. So just make the adjustment to that question. So the original question now says find the equation of the normal to that circle at the point 1 and 1. So now we've got a point here, 1 and 1. It doesn't have to be drawn to scale. It's just there to illustrate to you exactly what the diagram looks like. They don't give you the diagram. We're just assuming that that's what the circle should look like. Now we know the center is at half and negative 3 over 2. Again I said the circle is not drawn to scale. So we got a half and negative 3 over 2. Okay? So now, let's find the equation of the normal. So which way will the normal go? So let's not even draw this. Even if you just drew this here without the Cartesian plane. Just draw your circle and draw that. How would your normal go? Would your normal go through the past the circle at one point, or would it start from the center of your circle throughout? What is a normal? Starts from your center of your circle through the point of contact, straight line going on to infinity. There we go. So that is your normal. That's what your normal looks like. Now to find the equation of a normal, we need our equation, y minus y1. In fact, what we can do now immediately is to go into, we can go into that formula. Y minus y1 is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 into x minus x1. Because we are finding the equation, we got two pairs of coordinates, we're finding the equation of that straight line. Y equals mx plus c. Let's call this x2, y2. So we've got y minus y1, y minus minus 1, minus 3 over 2. So it's y plus 3 over 2 is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 into x minus x1. Right? That's x1, y1. Right, let's just double check, just so that we don't make a mistake. Y minus y1. Y minus minus 3 over 2 is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 into x minus x1. There we go. So y plus 3 over 2 is equal to 1 plus 3 over 2. So it's 1 plus 1.5 is 2.5. Yes or no? So 2.5 is 5 over 2. 5 over 2 divided by a half. 5 over 2, it's 5. Let's check. 1 plus fraction 3 over 2 equals 5 over 2 divided by a half. 5 is equal to 5 into x minus a half. So y plus 3 over 2 is equal to 5x minus 5 over 2. Multiply that out. So y is equal to 5x minus 5 over 2 minus 3 over 2. So y is equal to 5x minus 5 over 2 minus 3 over 2 gives me minus 8 over 2, and minus 8 over 2 is negative 4. And there we go, boys and girls. You could get 5 to 6 marks for that. So the first thing we had to do here, boys and girls, the first thing we had to do, we needed to complete the square in order to get the center. Because once we got the center, we then we've got now two pairs of coordinates, and now we can find the equation of a straight line using y is equal to mx plus c. Okay, boys and girls, I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode of K-Way Mathematics. Stay tuned for our next episode. We're going to, grade 12s, 11s and 12s, we're going to go into trigonometry, trigs and sequences and series in our next episodes. So any of you would like to purchase our set, please contact us at kwaymath@gmail.com. Pop us an email. We'll respond to you as soon as possible. Boys and girls, hope you guys enjoyed the show, and stay tuned for another explosive episode of K-Way Mathematics with me, your host and presenter, Mohammed Kota. Thank you.
الأمجاد قد عظمت فللأمجاد بانيها ومن يسعى إلى العليا سيدركها بما فيها ويبني مجده جدلا فروح الفذ يعليها ليصبح همة تروي عن العليا مغاني.